Welcome to another My Outlander Purgatory recap. This week, we continue our Season 7 Part 2 coverage with a recap of Episode 711, A Hundredweight of Stones. Ready? Then pour yourself a wee dram, settle in, and let's do this. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Carol.
And we are My
Outlander. .com, and I sure am in purgatory today after that. Holy cow. I watched this hours ago, and I've been on the edge of my seat all day. Like, I gotta get it out.
So, yeah, we all knew it was coming, you guys. I mean, the book readers knew it was coming. That's right off the bat. I want to know, okay, non-book readers, did you expect this?
This ain't their first time in the rodeo.
Well, I'm going to say this right off the top. It doesn't get any wackier than this, you guys. It doesn't get any more cray than this. This is pretty much, I'm thinking other than oh yeah, Claire, sorry, I forgot to tell you that I'm married to Leary. Other than that, that's about as cray as we get.
Yeah.
In this series.
Oh, this whole entire episode was like a fever dream.
Well, we're going to break it all down. Carol, what are you drinking to get you? Much like Claire, drinking whatever is on the mantle.
Well, as usual,
could be the chamber pot, could be whatever.
Oh my God. Claire was my girl. Oh my God. Number one, my water, BTS water. Oh. Number two, embarrassingly enough, I'm having a little Taco Bell from the lunch that I just wolfed down, which isn't ever a good idea when it's Taco Bell, but don't judge. And then we have a little coffee with a little McTavish bourbon, because Tracy, you asked me earlier what I was going to have, and I was like, I don't know. And then as the day went on, it got freezing. So I am in a turtleneck, and I have a little toasty McTavish awesomeness, which P.S. if you haven't bought the McTavish yet, you guys, oh my God, it's like candy.
It's really good.
Flipping good. It goes down
really
so nicely. Tracy, what are you drinking?
I've never seen you drink 3 drinks before at the same time. You're going to be peeing halfway through this recap.
What did I say before the recap? Give me something alcohol after this episode. Freaking Xanax, I don't know, but my brain is scrambled. So we all need Carol to calm down. All right, go ahead, Tracy.
So now we had we have this virtual wine tasting thing that we go to every year during this time. And we get some wine sent to us, and we have the little virtual tasting in our right there. So it's so I have 4 bottles of wine open with tasting amounts out of them.
Yeah.
So given that we're celebrating a marriage, I decided to go with the cava, which is this lovely Spanish. You can't really say champagne because it's not from Champagne, but Spanish sparkling wine. So Slán happy life, Claire and Lord John. Or at least happy episode.
Happy short-lived marriage that Claire hated every second of. Poor Lord John. Poor Lord John. Lord John's either got someone who lives for him and wanted to marry him when she was 5, or he's got Claire who wants nothing to do with him.
I just want to say right off the bat, these first couple episodes, because I went back when I was waiting for you to be ready. I went back and I had to break out the Outlandish Companion because I was just I really want to
Is see. That 2?
Yes. This is Outlandish Companion Part 2.
Because I want to know if you have a Kindle, right?
I did like a million years ago,
I should
but
have plugged mine in. I don't even know if the search works anymore. I had a
I
Kindle
mean, I do
15
have
years
I
ago.
I have them on my iPad now. Yes, I have all the books on
I
my
just
iPad.
want to, I can search. I just wanted to search and see if a certain word came up, to see if it was, put it this way, keep going and then I'll say what I have to say.
Well, no, I just like I started going through this,
Yes.
and then I was like,
Can't
yeah,
search it.
I can't read this, and it's not even that much, you guys. Like honestly, the last part of the I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see, but like all the cray, like that we just saw tonight, literally happens in like this much of the book. Like it is just like cray, 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 cray until the end of the book. Like we basically saw the end of the book. I think we may be officially out. In fact, I think we are. I think we are done with this book as of tonight. And
Oh.
maybe maybe no. There's a little more to go in here.
Yeah.
A little more to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
But so I had to break this baby out. And but I'm gonna say this. Like, yeah, we complained about like Laura John's nephew. Um, and like a bunch of other things, but like in general, like slow golf clap to the writers of the show because they have done an amazing job like skiving through all of this and all of the other one and pulling out like there's very little that has happened on the show that doesn't happen in some way, shape, or form in the books. And in this episode, like whoever it's Sarah H. Haught is our writer. And
which
Sarah,
I wrote down for the first time.
Sarah drew like the winning lottery ticket because
my God.
Because like 3/4 of the episode was right out of the head of Diana Gabaldon. Like pretty much every word anybody said in this episode is right here. So just I don't because I think we like bitch and moan about stuff and like partly it's just to be funny whatever, but like in all sincerity, like props to them because they have done an amazing job at cutting what I get we said we get why it's not Anu Christian rather than Henry who's like Claire comes back for, but the fact is that she does operate on Henry, like all goes down. It goes down a little bit differently. She sort of discovers that Lord John and all of them are there rather than like goes back for them, but it all happens. It all still happens. All all of it. There's like a little bit of difference with like the focus isn't really on Henry and Mercy Woodcock. It's on something else, but sort of something similar. And we'll get into all that. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that. Like, I feel like we bitch and moan a lot, but they've done an amazing job with this.
For the first time, you usually read. I acknowledge while I'm watching the episode, the writer, the director, but I'm not like you. I don't like, I always say this, I don't follow along. I don't like, oh my God, I have to know who that person is, blah, blah, blah. Today is the first time in 7 seasons I stopped and said, what is her name again? I need to know who this woman is because it is so good. And there's something I'm going to mention later. I wrote it down about a certain scene or a certain something that's when I was like, who is this woman? Because she is a god.
What, the writer?
Yes, because whatever way she did whatever scene it was, there's so many of them. They're later on, but let's just get going. I have a ton to say. So
okay. Anyway, Outlander 711, 100 weight of stones. Do we am I just stupid and I just didn't get that title? Or do we does somebody talk about it or did I miss it?
I don't know. I mean, you got Roger and Buck who came through the stones. You know what's so funny is I'm going to figure this out before we go live with this video. And I'll be like, oh, that's right. And then 40 people are going to post, it meant blah. And I'm going to be like, I know, right? I know.
Yeah.
You know what I thought of? Stones like cojones, like your balls. I was kind of like, that took some. So, I mean, I was coming up with every possible idea as I possibly could. Also, Ian, is it still called a cairn if there's nobody in it? Ian took
yes, it's the pile of stones is the cairn.
Exactly. exactly. So this is what I'm
Okay.
saying. I think the bottom line is that all of these titles every week have multiple meanings. So I
Right.
think that's awesome. I used to do whatever. I'm comparing myself to
I mean, I
Alex.
should probably Google the meaning of it because the other thing I thought is like it's like a stone is a unit of measure
Mm.
in the UK.
True,
Um,
true.
so like hundredweight of stones, like is that like I don't know. I thought like is it Jamie sinking? Is it the ship sinking? But like I don't know. I'm sure it's super obvious. Whatever. Okay. So the writer, as we said, is Sarah H. Hott, and like slow golf clap for her. She
If
put
we're saying
together
that
like
right.
she was handed. Maybe she chose it. Maybe she was like, okay, I want the biggest challenge ever, please.
Holy Mother.
Laura, John, and Claire do it. Bring it on.
And I
I'll
think
make that happen.
I think it's funny because you're like, we complain, whatever. I've had my little things over the seasons that and I'll never, the main one was from season 1 that I'm like, oh, I just wanted that. They didn't do it. This, I was like, this makes up for every single complaint I've ever had. Oh, it's so good.
And our director is Lisa Clark. Our cold open is The Wedding. Let's break this shit down. So the first thing I noticed is that it's not a Catholic ceremony, clearly, because
Well, he's
it's just
not.
in Lord John's, study or whatever.
Okay, same. Because I'm like, more suspension of disbelief. My man father would never come to the house in the 18th century to marry you. And then I'm like, yeah, but in like places like Scotland or something, like, it's so far out that maybe he would. So then I'm in my head saying the same thing. It's definitely not the Catholic Church, but I don't know that the Church of England would have done that either in his full robes and everything. And then I thought about my husband's uncle, Monsignor, who used to give us mass in the barn, and it was pretty funny.
Well, and also Lord John's pretty much in a big wig still, don't forget. So like, if Lord John like puts in the word to, Father Anglican guy, in the next block over and like, greases the parish coffers a little bit, like if you
Right.
will. Whatever.
Disbelief, whatever, don't care.
Whatever. Okay, so and we have two witnesses. William is one, and Mrs. Fig, Mrs. Fig, I think. As I keep getting her name confused with like all the way back at the very beginning at Castle Leoch, because wasn't there a Mrs. Fig there too?
Oh, God. You know what? If you didn't say that name, I would remember. But now that I'm comparing, I don't know. But let's just keep going.
I feel like I wrote it down. Whatever. Okay. So
Fitz.
Fitz was Castle Leoch. Fig is this one. Okay, good. Okay, so Lord John is running through those vows like he is running the 100-yard dash. He is just like to have to hold go.
Yes. And let me, instead of tell you what Claire is, let me show you. I can't even do it. It's that thing. And I was like, this is what they've done with her before, where it's just her face.
Mm-hmm. And well, it's both of their faces.
But no, I mean, I've got it right here, my friend.
No, I know. It's her face. No makeup.
And she's just, and I'm like, oh my God, we've seen this exact angle, this exact look on her face. It's so good.
Yeah, she's not there. She's reciting words. And let me ask you this. How come Lord John, it was like, Lord John, repeat after me. I, Lord John, take you, Claire Elizabeth Beecham, yada yada. Go ahead. I, Lord John, take you, Claire Elizabeth Beecham, yada yada. Yeah. To be my lawfully wedded wife. Be my lawfully wedded wife. To have and to hold. To have and to hold. Right. But for Claire, it was like, say it all. Okay, repeat after me. I, Claire Elizabeth Beecham, yada yada, take you, Lord John, to be my lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold the safe word, for richer, for poorer, for better, or worse, going to go. I was like, what? Excuse me, Father so-and-so. Like, come on, give the woman a break. She's barely there as it is. Like, how come Lord John got the easy way? That bugged me. I was like, this is really weird. I mean, were they cutting it so that they, like, she gets stuck on the, like, till death do us part. I don't know. They wanted to like highlight that, whatever. Uh, yeah, and yes, I thought the
yeah.
same
Well,
thing with the.
yeah. I mean, that's what they did. She couldn't go. She couldn't say it when it was turn this off till death do us part. Let me tell you
She got
something.
to, but maybe they were
That's a
just
rough
rushing
one.
it. I don't know. It was weird. Like that was a weird thing to me. Like it was like Lord John's was so easy, and then if it was like test, it was like Lord John got the answers in advance.
I think it was
And
just it was just like pronounced. I think it was just to emphasize the difficult time she was having.
all right, okay, whatever. Still wasn't fair. And but the face, and it was both of their faces. It was a tight shot on both of them too.
Oh
But
my God, Jamie's voice when she is like trying to do this, and you hear Jamie like say Claire or whatever he says, and then they
right,
show William, and then the
that's
ring. And
that's
she's
when they
staring at William like,
when they cut to William, that's where I lost it. I was like, and they cut to William. That's at the death do us part where
mm,
she can't say it. She can't
because
say
she's
it, and
seeing
then
Jamie in William.
yes, and that's telling her
Oh,
I need to go on. I need to
right,
go on. Like
right,
Jamie, I can't give up.
right,
And she does it. She sees William. She sees Jamie and William,
right.
and that's what allows her to do it. It's Katrina Balfe, who, by the way, is, ladies and gentlemen, one of your Critics' Choice nominees for Best Actress in a Dramatic Series.
Holy cow!
And this be why. This is why. Because she just hit this out of the park.
Right.
And the fact that she's this good, and she might not even be the VIP of the episode, just shows you the bench that Outlander is working with here. I mean, I would argue that Lord John is the VIP of this episode. Okay, so the Easter egg is the white deer. If you read the book, and even if you read the book, maybe you don't remember that part, but
Yeah, I don't.
well, no, I mean it's you realize it later when the after when he talks about the white deer. So we get to Ian, and he's speaking in Gaelic, but the only reason I kind of knew that was because he's talking about angels and souls and stuff,
Right.
and I don't think he'd be talking about that in Mohawk.
Right.
I don't know.
You knew. I knew it was Gaelic.
I mean, I figured it was Gaelic, but like, I don't speak either language, so, and they're both really hard to understand. So it could have been anyone.
It's just because the Gaelic sounds all like roch to roch.
Yeah, but he wasn't doing that thing. Okay. So he's putting a stone on a cairn, and I loved how, he's like sort of coming at it with the stone, and you don't realize just how many stones are already on it.
Yeah.
Like I kind of get the sense that he's been building this for a while.
It's 100 weight of stone.
It's 100 weight of stone, but I think there's more meaning in it, like we've said, whatever. But it tells me that a little bit of time has passed. And this is a big thing because this is a big difference from the books. And this is one reason, this is probably the main reason why I went and dug, deep into these. We never see Ian throughout all of this. The Ian, Rachel, Archbug stuff, it kind of happens all at the same time.
Yeah.
But we never, Ian just sort of like, he and Claire get back, and Ian kind of disappears. And you don't see him again until the Archbug stuff, which happens, I think, after Jamie has already, like, they've gotten the news about Jamie, and Claire and Lord John have gotten married and all that stuff. And that was always the problem that I had with the books, is that, like, where's Ian? Why isn't Ian, talking, like, some sense into her? Or preventing this from happening or whatever. But right. It was just always really weird to me. So Ian's intimately involved in the TV show version of it. So yeah, this scene was very, I'm looking at this now. Yeah, it got me when he's like, he has no grave to rest in.
Very sad.
Jamie. So Rachel and Ian are just I just put yada yada. They're just I don't even remember what they said. Do you?
No, I'm looking at my notes because sometimes it goes back and forth, and I know they did go back to Rachel and Ian. So now I'm like, oh wait, no, that was when they were walking. Okay.
Yeah, no, I have stuff to say about when they were walking.
Oh, we have stuff to say about all of it.
It's not very good. All right, okay. So then we go to Roger and Buck. They're looking for clues about Roger's dad.
And they're pole darking their way through the
They're
countryside.
pole darking their way back and forth, and back
This
and forth, and back and
way.
forth. They're basically just like, why, what does he have to do with Jem? I don't remember if it was this part or like some part later where Buck is very practical. I'm liking Buck. I'm liking Buck.
Oh, totally like
in
Buck.
this season. I'm liking him. He's very practical. He's like, there could be nothing. There could be no connection at all. Right. It could have nothing to do with each other. And Roger's like, no, there has to be something. Okay. Now we get to the future. 1980, Brie at Lollybrock.
Can I just say really quick that I enjoyed when Buck said, asked him why your mother would have told you a lie. Like, dude.
I don't even remember that. So wait, Buck says
Roger was talking about his upbringing and his father dying, and Buck says, like, why would your mother have told you a lie? I don't know.
But the mother didn't know like what happened. I think that he was just, they're all just like he was shot down and his plane was never found, right?
I don't remember. I could find it, but keep going.
Okay. So I feel like we've seen it, like they had this scene sort of as a preview scene that I think we watched it. So we sort of saw it before. She's tucking Mandy, like a true mop girl. She goes for the wine right away, and then has to go in a drawer for something and smacks her hand in a drawer, and she's like saying that for it a lot. Again, she's a mop girl at heart. All things we would do. All things we would do if our husbands mistakenly went through the stones. Oh, sorry.
And I was also thinking, going back to Buck and Roger, that like, couldn't Buck have left? Like, Buck's sitting here with Roger, like doing all this stuff, looking for Jem, now looking for Roger's father. And I'm like, couldn't Buck technically just like be like, I'm out. Like, I really want to go back to my family now.
Well, I mean, first of all, he can't because his family is like not his family yet. Okay. Oh. So he's going to have to go back. See, this is where I'm sort of skipping ahead, but when Roger got the gem stone from the Tinker, and he's like, okay, we just need 2 more. At first I was like, okay, so he's assuming he's going to find Jem, and Buck, and Jem are going to go through the stones. Right. And then I was like, no, wait. Maybe he's assuming he's going to find his father. And he's talking about Jem, and his father are going to go back through the stones. But I kind of was like, I sort of put it out of my head because I didn't want to think about Buck at that point. But Buck is going to have to go through the stones again, if only to get to his own time. Because Roger meets Buck, 1770s something or other? Yeah, Buck's got some more traveling to do. So he's going to need himself a gemstone.
But this is what I'm saying, which Buck do we have right now? Post Roger hanging Buck, right?
Correct.
So Buck's got a family.
Right. But his family is 50, 60 years in the future.
So why wouldn't Buck 40. Be like, all right, dude, I helped, didn't find him. Later, I see some stones up there. I'm going back to my wife.
Well, yeah, that's what but he probably doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to steer. He doesn't know how
Buck, pay attention.
He's Roger's the expert. He needs to stick around with Roger. Yeah. I would stick around with Roger. I wouldn't want to go through the stones myself. I want somebody to help me. All right. Anyway, so we're back to Ian and Rachel.
Hang on. You were talking about Brie.
Yeah, but like I said, she goes for the wine. She needs something for the drawer. She puts something in the drawer, smacks her hand in the drawer, and
see, I have different stuff than that because I'm like, here she is in a different time, not knowing Jamie's dead while all this is going on. And then I'm reminded of you on page 1 of book 2, or really the whole series, saying Jamie's always been dead. You know what I mean? Like, it really messes with my head when I'm reading and watching this stuff, that, like, you know, he's always been dead. And I also glom on to being so incredibly jealous of her living at Lollybrock. And that, of course, took me on a giant Google. It took me like 2.5 hours to watch this episode, take notes, because I keep stopping and like Googling. And you guys, I found this website called castlist.com, where you can go and buy yourself like a decrepit falling down castle. And some of them were in great shape, and some of them were, you know, completely, you know, falling over, but it was pretty cool. So look on those. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Ian and Rachel.
Well, because now that you said that with I never thought that stuff about Jamie. Like, I don't think about Jamie when I'm watching Brie. But now that I'm thinking about it, and maybe we made this point last time, like last season, wouldn't you, if you're Brie at this point, be like, where's that box of letters? I'm taking through the whole thing, because if Jem really went back, wouldn't there be a letter that being like, hey, Brie, guess what? Guess what? We can talk, Brie.
Hey, we just hung out. I just babysat Jem. Oh my God. That's hilarious. That's Tracy. That's the same point I always made about Claire going through the stones to go back to her own time, and not the second she got out of the hospital racing to the library. Like, I'll never understand that as long as I live. I would have read every single one of those letters immediately. I'd have to know. I know. You just have to know.
So we're up to Rachel and Ian, this conversation that they have, sort of walking along.
Yep.
Guys, I don't know. I think the Rachel Ian union is just doomed with me. I just do. And I do feel like the second time I watched this, it wasn't as visceral, but the first time I watched this, I was really like, this is harsh. It's pretty harsh, but Ooh. I was like, you know, I don't know what the rules of like God, I'm so blanking. Quaker being a Quaker are. But I'm pretty sure that one of them isn't like be a judgmental. Because I really felt like Rachel was like, and I also get that like Rachel's sort of, she's not snarky, but I guess she's as snarky as you're allowed to be in the Quaker religion. So when Ian's all, you know, trying to be sincere and being like, you know, when I asked you to marry me, and she's like, well, you didn't really ask me to marry you, Ian. And he's like, wait, I didn't? Really? Like, you know, and then when he tells her that he's been married before, yeah, this is all right. This is what I wrote down. Thee didn't ask me to marry thee. Thee didn't ask me to marry me. I was like, we're being a bit uppity to Ian here, Rachel, given that he just lost his uncle and his dad in the space of a day, but whatever. Okay, fine. And then I do recall a few very moving declarations. There was no suggestion of marriage among them. I wrote down, I'm really starting to not like her. Like, is this just me? Ian tells Rachel about the wife, and he says she is yada yada, not was, and she's like, thy wife is alive, and she's just so judgmental, and like, the first time I watched this, I was like, oh, shut up. That's what I was like. Yes? No?
I had
Anything to say?
I had the complete opposite. Because I remember her. She was very uppity in the books, but it was because of the whole Quaker thing. But I didn't take that line about forgetting that he didn't ask her to marry him as uppity. I thought she was being cute. Like, I thought she was like, you know, you didn't ask me to marry you. Like, I kind of thought that was cute, but I thought the fact that he forgot that he didn't ask her to marry him was so stupid. I was literally, I don't even like the word stupid, and I have it in caps. And then she freaks out that he's still married. Do you want to know if I loved her or if I still love her now? I was like, oh Lord. And she says, start there, and I have more stupidity. She would want to know because Quakers can't marry somebody who's divorced. I mean, okay, here's how I took the scene. I thought that I did not think she was too uppity. I like her better than the one in the books because I felt like the one in the books was very uppity, but I don't know. She's a Quaker and she's an 18th century Quaker. Like I worked with a couple Quakers, but and they were my buds, you know what I mean? But they just have a certain set of rules, and they have to abide by them. So I was pretty taken with her. I thought she was great when he told her he had been married. And then it hit me when it hit her. Oh, your wife's still alive? Because she can't marry him, I would think. And it's interesting because she didn't say that once they talked. And then I started thinking, well, wait, though, sometimes they don't have rules at all. Like maybe there's no rule saying she can't marry somebody who's, divorced, if that's what it was, when technically he's really not. I mean, was he even married in the eyes of the law? So there's a whole lot of if maybes, however, you know what I mean? So I didn't really know, but no, I didn't think she was too uppity. I thought she was Rachel.
See, and I thought when you said Quakers can't marry someone who's been divorced, there's a whole mess of crap that is going against the Quaker way with Ian, I think. So it's not like all of a sudden, to your point, he probably never was really married, but I don't know what a Quaker wedding is like either. Maybe the Quaker wedding is just you clasp hands and you say some nice things and you're done. I don't know. I don't know.
The fact that, sorry.
No, it's just, I feel like it's just kind of, and I think you're right. I think the whole, I didn't ask you to marry me. This relationship in the TV show is just doomed from the start with me. And I just think I'm going to look for things that are wrong with it at this point, because I just don't like it.
Yeah, I think so. But I just had to laugh that I left my dying father and got on a boat for 5 weeks to come to you. But I didn't propose? Don't you think he would have worked that out in his head and had a little bit of a situation, sitting her on a log, giving her some wildflowers? That I just found completely silly.
Okay, let me ask you this. Maybe in sort of the Scottish culture, maybe the declaration of love is the declaration of marriage. Maybe it's more in his mind, he has declared his love. That because means he wants to marry her.
He did. You're right in the fact that he did say to her, well, have I not told you I loved you, or something like that. So that kind of made me figure, that's very interesting because there's, that's kind of a cultural thing that other cultures are like that even today. Oh, we're dating. I've said that I love you. You've said that you love me. We're eventually going to get married.
Right.
I mean, so
but the other thing is to your point, he got on a ship for her. He he left his dying father. He got on a ship. He traveled 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it was. He told her he loved her. Does she really think that he's trying to pull one over on her with a wife? This is, he's not Jamie.
No.
This isn't a Jamie Leary situation.
I expected her to be what? Whatever, can't marry thee. She didn't do any of that. I thought she was actually surprisingly cool about just finding out he had a wife, he had children, pregnancies that his wife miscarried. He actually has a son. I mean, he lays all of this on her in a few minutes. I thought she reacted pretty darn cool. And the opposite of me thinking about her having rules, again, maybe there really aren't rules. Like you're saying, maybe they just hold hands and say, all right, I love you, we're married, whatever. But she's with a Scotsman who identifies as a Mohawk and has dots all over his face and has shaved hair. I think Rachel's pretty damn cool about accepting people who are outside the norm of her religion as it is.
That's true. That's true. I don't know.
I think it's pretty fascinating that we took different things out of that scene. I think that's really cool.
And like I said, the second time I watched it, it was not nearly as like visceral to me. But it's just, these two are just like, they're not. I don't see the pairing. I don't feel the like that they're like perfect for each other, even though they're like so different. No. So I'm gonna just be like, unless you're like totally like great, it's not gonna work for me.
I think they're buddies.
And like we haven't gotten to later when Ian's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take Rachel to Valley Forge to go like find Denzel or why I don't even remember why they were going, but it's like, oh okay. So Rachel's like okay with the two of you just trotting off to Valley Forge by yourself.
Yeah.
With no chaperone or anything. Right. Just going off there. But like, just like, I'm out on them. It is what it is. I wish them all the happiness in the world, but yeah.
In your friendship marriage. They are friends. She is a friend. So there you go.
She is a friend. And it was one thing I was reading in the book is that I forgot they call everybody like friend Claire, friend Lord John, friend, William. And they don't do that in the show, and it's kind of interesting in the book. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, you guys, like, I mean, you make a lot of good points, Carol, and maybe I'm just too harsh on them, but like, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. All right. Moving on.
Oh my God, this scene. Oh my God, this is it. I think this is when I looked up the writer's name.
Okay, so we're at Lord John's house, and Lord John and William are having a discussion in his library or wherever they are. And William is all just like, what the hell, Lord John, Dad? What are you doing here? Like, yeah, she's cool, I like her, but she's a rebel. And Lord John's like, I owe it to Jamie to protect her.
Yes, before that, Lord John's like, yes, Claire's manner can be exasperatingly forthright.
Much like Rachel. I'm surprised Rachel and Claire aren't like this.
All caps.
They're like the same person.
OMG, I need the backstory on that hilarious phrase from Sarah H. Is it how hot? I don't know how you say her name. But oh my God, how did she come up with it? Did she toil over that phrase? Did she try did she try that? And then I'm like, oh my God, was it Diana? Did she take it word from word from Diana?
Like this scene with William and Lord John is really good. William is all like, yeah, I guess he's a good guy, but like he's just a groom, like he's a groom and he took our arms up against the crown. So you don't know him anything. And you're just like, Lord John and we are just like, oh Lord.
Yeah.
If you only knew, bro.
If you only knew. And that hug, oh my God, did I feel that hug?
I know. And when Lord John says, I have all the happiness I need. He loves William so much. He loves William so much.
But I understood William's point. I mean, think about how weird this all looks to William.
Right.
He's like, what are you doing? You're going to go down. You're going down and you're taking us all with you.
Right. No,
like, you're
100%,
taking this
100%.
family name. What are you? Can you imagine?
Right. And I'm like, it's like I said before, like, why isn't Claire getting that through Ian? Like, why isn't Ian ripping her a new one? Like, what are you doing? You're like spitting on Uncle Jamie's grave. Like, there's got to be a better way. Ian
understands. Ian understands why they have to do it. I mean,
how do you know? He doesn't say anything about it.
William doesn't really, I hate to say, not that he doesn't care what happens to Claire, like quite the contrary, but he respects Claire, but he's like, this whole family's going down. We're going to lose everything if you get caught. We're going to lose everything if you go to jail or worse. Like,
well, here's the thing.
I thought this was really good.
It was really good. And the one thing I have to say, it's not a complaint, but it sort of would have helped, I think, in all of this, is to know or have more of a sense about the passage of time. Because, you guys let me know if you haven't read the books and you just watch the show. In the show, it feels like everything in this episode goes down in about a week. Like a couple, week and a half.
Yeah.
It's a long time in the book. It's probably 6 weeks, over the course of 6 weeks. And it's enough that, like, Claire, while she's obviously, like, still, like, not at all over any of this, has kind of, like, this has become more of a routine for her. She's sort of, like, figured out how to, like, fit into the fabric of everything. And it's more of, like, she started to, like, I don't want to say this is her new life, but it kind of is. And there's more of a, like, by the time Jamie comes back, there's more. I mean, William is calling her Mother Claire. Which I totally forgot about till I read through the book. He calls her Mother Claire.
Mm.
So enough time has passed that, he's feeling very comfortable with her, And I don't feel like we get the sense of that in this episode as much. She's still, like, that very last scene when Jamie comes in, she's still kind of sitting in the chair in her room, like, whatever. And Lord John comes in and he's like,
whoa, look, did you just jump to the end of the...
I know. But, like, that's why I'm making the point. Like, yes, I totally get why William is saying this stuff right now. Like, I totally get why he's saying it. But at the same time, we don't see him ever, like, sort of, I guess we see it at the ball a little bit that he softens to her, but he really does. And she really becomes more of a part of the fabric of the day-to-day life of the Grey House than we see. So it's not a complaint. It's just more of a, like, I feel like that would have made the reveal a little, it kind of felt like she was waiting for Jamie the whole time. And I think in the books, like, I feel like it's starting to set in. I don't know that there was ever a thing of, like, Jamie's coming back. It's a little harder. It's a little harder in the show because that Sam Heughan is, like, a regular cast member. Of course he's coming back. Like, that's the thing. Even if you don't watch the book, even if you never read the books, you're like, Sam, you're not going to kill off Sam Heughan. He's coming back. And I guess you thought that with the books too, but, like, you just really didn't know what to think. Whatever. I'm rambling. All right. Yes, I agree. That was a really good scene. Oh, look, we're back to Ian and Rachel. You tell this part because I just can't with Ian and Rachel anymore.
I don't remember it because I combined that whole scene into one, and I already talked about the two of them. I mean, let me see. Ian and Rachel again. Rachel finding out issue after issue is hilarious and delicious and sad. There's much wrong with a possible marriage for her, or is it? Maybe Quakers don't care. Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know if this is going to be an issue or if they aren't going to, if it doesn't matter.
Right. And I have
they kiss. Ian says Swift is... they kiss. Snore. I'm telling you, they just come off as buddies. Is she
just romance. Like now telling him that she loves her, telling him that she loves him? Rachel, I do love thee, and I put yawn. I do have here. Ian says Swiftest Lizards is definitely his, which again we've said, like, he doesn't know this at this point. I guess he does. Whatever. But I said, how would that change? How would that change from the book, right? So the book, it is not at all clear that the kid is his, nor does he tell Rachel, at least at this part.
Mm-hmm.
But how would knowing that change? How would that change? How would knowing that affect Rachel in terms of being able to marry him? I have the same thing here. That's where I sort of got like, well, wait a minute. if Ian is a son, like, is that going to be something that is like a deal breaker for her? Because, you have a wife that you don't really know if you were married to or not, but now you have a son out of wedlock, and like just can't, and like Quakers can't with that or whatever. I don't know.
I might have to go and research this. And I also feel like she's going to be much easier on something like this than she is on something involving violence. She's going to be willing to look the other way on certain things much more than she would be, Then again, these her wolf, so whatever.
I guess. I will say this. I've watched it twice, and both times I heard the same thing. When Ian says, I was ordered to go to her village to deliver a message from my general, the way he says it.
I didn't notice.
Both times. I was ordered to go to her village to deliver a message from my genital.
No, that's what you heard, like in your head when he said that. Ooh.
However, is like really Scottish, and it came out in my ears as genital.
Oh my God. That is a riot.
Oh my God, you deliver that message to Emily from your genital.
I wish he would deliver a message from his genital. Maybe I'd be more interested in them. I would actually see them as two people who are madly in love and need to get married.
Oh my God. I know. It's not good. Okay. So Claire is in her bedroom, and she's just been, I feel like I skipped a part where like she's like crazed or whatever.
Did you feel like this shot of her was like foreshadowing, or was like a scene of what's to come? She was against the bed like this. And I was like, they wouldn't do this. Because, going into this episode, when you know what happens, you're like, how are they going to do this? Like, how are they going to shoot this? How you just don't, you're kind of terrified. So yes. They start that scene with her, and I'm like, oh, no. And then sure enough, she gets up.
And you changed Lord John. Oh, no.
I was like, is this like a teaser? What's happening? Right? And then I'm thinking about Edward in the
headboard. Okay. So Claire has entered what they call the angry stage of grief. Okay. Did you feel, having gone through it yourself, did you feel like that whole like stages, the Kubler, I don't know what they are, but like it's the Kubler stages, right? Like, are they accurate, do you think?
The thing about the stages that's accurate is the fact that when they say, it's anger, it's,
I don't know all of them or the order.
I don't know. And I never paid much attention to it, because at least most people will say they come and go and they switch. And just because you hit one doesn't mean 5 years later you don't hit it again. So I never really, but I did, and I wrote it down, say, it was chilling to me that she was sitting on the floor of her bedroom, because that's what I did. That day, I just at one point went upstairs, and your entire life is stretched out in front of your eyes, and all you know is you're doing this without your person. And you can't even grasp that amount of time. And I was just sitting on the floor in my bedroom, just like sitting there. And I sat on the floor of my bedroom too, only I couldn't yell because I had a house full of Starks downstairs. You guys, my husband has a really big family, and I always say, like, I half married him because of his family, because they're so much fun. Whenever you're at a family party, it is a party. So we had everyone, my family and his family, and some cousins. And I mean, the whole house was just, so when I was having my Claire moment, I was yelling in my head. And then I came downstairs and said, just turn on Love Island. I don't know.
I mean, I will say that much like Lord John, we were all like drinking whatever, like didn't move.
Get our hands on. Yeah. That was the first thing I did. I came home, I talked to my kids, and then I went out back, and it was February, but it was oddly warm. And there was Katie, there was my niece, there was this one, that one, and everyone was having a beer. And
I mean, like, I
What
think,
else are
and
you gonna do?
I've said it before, like giving somebody a good passing, a good transition, and like it sort of happened with everybody around you too. Like it was,
Right.
I I
And
hate
it
to
broke. I'm
say
sorry.
it
Sorry. Go
wasn't
ahead.
it wasn't unpleasant. Like I mean, and that's really like I don't know if that's mean or not unpleasant, but like what's the wrong word?
No, it's not.
We
It's not
let
the
we
wrong
laughed
word.
we laughed a lot. What am I gonna say? Like those couple of days before Tom passed, and we would go back to your house, and all his family was there, and like Carol said, they're like just like our family. They're crazy, and I say that in the best way, and they tell great stories. And we like had a lot of drinks, and we like told a lot of stories, and we laughed a lot.
All I can hear, all I can hear is Mike. Are you Tom Stark's brother? Um, I have her considering suicide and like looking at like the laudanum or whatever it is, looking at the scalpel,
Hmm.
like all of that was like unbelievably powerful. I also was tying like Romeo and Juliet to that because I thought, can you imagine? Can you imagine if she
Hmm.
did? Like,
Hmm. I
oh
never thought of
my,
that.
I
Wow.
don't think I ever did either. And then I'm like, oh my God. And then he would come back. Jamie's voice telling her death is small between them, and when his body dies, his soul will still be hers. You guys, I'm getting the chills again. A lot of this, and for those of you who have been through it, like it's really true. Like, I heard him for a very long time after that. I still once in a blue moon, but I mean phrases, things, and an answer to what was going on. Not just I hear him in my head, yeah, all the time, but
Hmm. Hmm.
I would be doing something and think a thought, and he would think it back at me, and I would be like, "Whoa, where are you?" And it's the truth. It is. I completely agree with that. That that to me, I have is the most powerful thing I've ever heard in this series, or probably any for that matter. That the soul is still with you.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hearing his voice and hearing what that like the part that he says, those words,
Yeah.
super moving. And you see why Claire is screaming because it's like I
Oh,
can't live without him,
right.
but clearly I have to live without him. But I can't
Right.
live without him. But like I don't have a choice. I have to.
And
So the only thing left to do is just scream.
and I was just going to say, and I did plenty of that too after everybody went home. Like, and it is guttural, just exactly how she was doing it.
Hmm.
I mean, wow, just wow. And then I kept thinking, is William there? Claire, shh, keep it down a little. Scream into your pillow, like Christina Applegate.
um, no, I mean, she's just so good, and Katrina, you got it right.
Got it right. Dear God. I mean, I am like, I've never been so like this to her since this whole thing started. Holy mother. She was amazing.
Um, yeah,
These scenes, the tears, and it wasn't just like a watery eye. At one point, I was typing my note and a tear came all the way down and fell off my cheek. At one point, I had one on my nose. I mean, it was just, and they would come out of nowhere.
um, yeah, she was really great. She was really great. So she hears Jamie's words and she can't do it. She starts screaming. Then I will say that the whole when she starts drinking, like she literally just takes that bottle off the mantle. And it's like, I hope that's some sort of liquor because like it was weird because there were no
Oh my
glasses
God.
there.
I know it
Like
was
a
probably
fancy chamber
liquor.
pot.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably liquor she would use to like numb someone up. I have to laugh when they do that and they don't stop and go like anybody else would. I mean, I was making this and I did this with the shot glass because it was empty, but I went, oh, there's a little bit. And I was like, whoa. And she's
um,
full on guzzling.
I know. So she's like, okay, so she is just getting herself loaded. Did you do that a lot, Carol?
I'm still doing that.
um, okay. So then we see Lord John downstairs and he hears her screaming and he just it's like the worst. And he's so good in this scene.
Oh my
I mean, as
God.
good as she is, like, and I don't want it to be a contest, but like, he's so good in this scene. Like, you can see his like his anguish. Okay, I mean, it's like quite literally all over his face because he's crying, and that I don't think that that's just like okay, like put a little more like glycerin or whatever they use for fake tears. Like he
Right.
is
Right.
just beyond devastated, and the chessboard is right there, and he looks at that chessboard. And there's an empty seat across from the chessboard, and we all know he should be sitting there. Like, and he just doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know what to do.
And hears her screaming the whole time, and
And he
he's
hears her
feeling
screaming.
how
He's
he's
feeling
hearing
her
her.
screaming. Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes. Right.
So the next thing you know, he's busting into Claire's room. And he says, these words are right out of the book.
Straight from the book.
I will not mourn him alone tonight.
Straight from the book.
And in the book, that's like the end of the chapter. And then the next chapter is like, there they are. It's the next morning. So let's talk through what you thought of this scene. Scene.
Beyond loved it. Everything you just said, I'm not even saying anything about the chess because it's exactly what I said. That empty chair and the chessboard are killing me. The tears are hanging off my chin, hearing her scream, all of it. But I never in a million years expected them to do that the way they did it. And it was perfection. They didn't show too much. They showed plenty, but they didn't need to go there. I've said this is what my problem oftentimes with American television is. Less is more. What's in your mind is going to be more powerful than what you're seeing on this screen. So them showing him holding her, them, I'm trying to think.
And she's pounding on him one minute.
Yes.
And then holding him like the next minute.
The holding each other, it was
chef's kiss 100%.
Perfection.
I was like, I said it was choppy, it was muted, and it was like love and hate, and well, I don't want to say hate, but like love and anguish, I guess. I don't know. All in one big, 20-second montage.
Yes.
They couldn't have done it better.
Couldn't have done it better. And not once. I'm not going to say I like the show better because they kind of went off of, but they just made it so understandable that, then the next day you understood. You were like, yep, makes total sense to me. I'm not at all judging this, not at all thinking of it negatively. Would have done the same thing. And right away they start talking and you're like, oh my God, like neither one of them even is feeling that bad. They're feeling a little uncomfortable, but they're not really feeling bad because they shouldn't. They don't have to feel bad. This was perfectly okay, which freaked me out because in the book I'm like,
yeah, I mean, like I said, in the book it's like, I will not mourn him alone tonight. Blackout. Next morning, here we are. Okay, great. The transition, like, it was perfect. It really got them. And I don't remember in the book if like maybe at some point during their conversation she's thinking about what happened the previous night, or we hear about what happened the previous night.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But like it was exactly what was needed. It was exactly what was needed. It takes you from point A to point B.
Right.
And you understand what went down, why it went down, and why it was okay.
Right. And did you notice the way they woke up in the morning? It was like a role reversal, like a stereotypical role reversal. She's hanging off the bed on her stomach, practically like a leg hanging out. And he's laying over there on his back with the covers like up to here. It's like he's the wife and she's the husband. It was really, I just loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. So the next morning. Anyway. So Claire wakes up. She's like, you can see it in her face. Like she sort of opens her eyes and she's like, "Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Oh shit,
Christ."
Jesus H. Christ. Yep, turns over and it's like, hey, what's up? So this is an interesting. I mean, and I probably had this question in the books too. Why did he stay?
The night, because it probably wasn't. I think they spent a lot of the time wrestling around and yelling and screaming and crying and doing all of that kind of stuff. I don't think they've been laying there that long. You know what I mean? They probably they were both hammered, let's not forget.
Yeah,
So they
so
probably
I think they've been passed out for a bit.
I think they've been passed out for a bit, but I don't think it was it's not like they slept for 8 hours. You know what I mean? This probably went down and they probably crashed for a few hours and then there they are. I don't necessarily think he stood up after and was like, "Oh, look at the time."
Well, no, but I mean, like, if he woke up way before, like, so you're saying that he didn't wake up much
Oh,
before
you're
her?
saying because he was already awake.
Oh, yeah, no. No, it wasn't like he was like, boom, boom, do it, do
Yeah.
it. Okay, I gotta go.
Maybe
No, I think he woke up. She's passed out still, and he's like, I think I'll just stay here to make
Yeah.
this really awkward.
Yeah. Maybe knowing him, maybe he stayed to have the conversation and put it to bed, no pun intended, as soon as it happened so that it wouldn't fester, so that it
Could
wouldn't be
be.
uncomfortable. And he's so respectful that he probably didn't want her waking up and,
That's a good
being
point. That's a
by
very good point.
herself and wrestling with this. Boom, let's talk about it and move on. And
Right.
like I said, when they talked about it, I was like, yeah, it didn't faze me that happened.
Now, I kind of think that he didn't wake up much before her
Yeah.
because I think he was still sort of processing everything and she woke up. I don't think there was enough
Yeah.
time.
No, I don't think
they
he
both
laid there for an hour.
No, I think
No.
they did Wordle, went on TikTok.
Tried to climb out of the bed quietly so he wouldn't wake her.
Yeah, I just was like, why no walk of shame? But no, I think that they cat did whatever they did. They pass out, and then he wakes up a little before her, but not much. And he's just kind of like. So we have this big long discussion. It's straight from the book, all of it, like every word. And I don't even know, it's just all great. I don't even know how much we need to break down of it, because it's so good.
I have one thing about it that I'm like, what?
What?
You were with a woman 15 years ago?
Yeah, he was with Isabel.
Okay, how old is William at this point? I mean,
Isabel died because we saw William and Lord John right after Isabel died, and William was like 10, 11,
so
12.
He was keeping up appearances with Isabel.
Yeah, I don't think Isabel, he never was like, yeah, Isabel, I'm into men. I don't think he ever said that. Maybe she probably did realize it if she was married to him for, I think she did. She very likely realized it, but I think it was kind of probably like a once a year type of thing for them or whatever. He's clearly done it with her before though, right?
I mean, yeah, but I didn't ever get that impression. I don't remember. I don't remember having that impression in the books.
I think Lord John's a nice guy, and if he's gonna, marry a woman for a particular reason, and she wants to do it, he's not gonna be like, ew.
He had to go through with his husbandly duty.
Yeah, he didn't not like Isabel.
So funny because I just never thought of it. I was like, 15 years? Who was he schnooping 15 years ago?
His wife. His wife. Once in a while. When maybe she, he's hot, whatever.
I can understand her doing him.
It was the conversation was awkward, but it should have been
right.
They're just kind of but as you said, it was awkward and yet not.
Right.
And the white deer story is right out of the book and lovely. And the only thing I can say here is when Lord John gets out of bed, who else thought that we were going to get a nice tiny shot?
I'm not going to lie. I watched that. I was like, is this going to be just like other couples when they get out of bed? Is he going to hold the
I was like, here we go. Here we go. Here's the Heine shot.
Want to touch the Heine?
We didn't get it. We didn't really. We got like a side view, but whatever. I just wrote down that scene was about as good as it could be. It's awkward AF in the books.
Yep.
It's awkward AF here, but in a good way.
And for the rest of my life, at least this week, I'm going to be walking around saying, think of the deer, my dear.
Yeah, it was great. Like Katrina Buff, David Barry.
Slow golf clap.
I'm gonna give them the dual VIPs of this episode because they're just both really great. Okay, let's move on here. So we're back to Roger and Buck. They find the Tinker that they've been after. They ask some questions. You know, the Tinker's like, I don't know nothing, but I have some gemstones over here in this box.
Want one?
And Roger's like, oh, okay, I'll take this one. Because again, he's thinking, you know, he's got his head on straight, and he's like, I'm gonna have to get out. I have to get out of Dodge eventually.
Right.
So the Tinker finally says, after the payment, that they got the dog tags. He got the dog tags for a McCrofter that lives the other side of the village. Great. So they're like, that's now they gotta go find this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had to laugh that I'm like, yeah, we have like GPS. I use Google or Waze, and it tells me make a right at the second light, and it's 2 yards on your left. You have to now go across the village.
So
I just lost you. Did I just completely lose you from that? My God, you can tell when Tracy's not interested in what I have to say, because she just totally stops paying attention. I thought across the village was funny.
Across the village. Yeah, they found it though. As we said, like, you know, they got along. They got along okay without GPS, just like we did when we used maps. And, you know, it's all good.
I've never gone across the village to find someone.
All right. Let's move on to Bree, because we're back to Bree. You know, we've all but forgotten about Bree, but she really does. She's really still around. She's really still got the cool camper in front of Lollybach. But right now, she's got a bigger problem because, you know, she finally gets to pour herself a glass of wine and turns around. How the hell does Bree just not lock her door? Like, how the hell is Rob Cameron standing in the living room?
And like, how is this? Her son's been kidnapped. You'd think she'd lock a door once in a while. Maybe he just like walked in the window that doesn't have any glass in it.
So he tells her, no, Joe's not in the stones. He didn't go through the stones. I don't know that this was from the book, like that it was this like convoluted from in the book. No. That like I just like made you think that so that Roger would go through the stones and like you'd be by yourself. I kind of think it was just a little more dumb luck on.
Well, they had to explain it. They had to explain it because, like you said, the whole end scene of this show was the end of the book. So
right. Well, yeah, and I'm not going to say like. I don't want to talk too much about this because there's definitely still some stuff to come about this part. But like I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember there was a whole like big plan. I don't think he's that smart that he's going to plan like to like fake Roger out into having to go through the stones and then that Bree's by herself. Like I don't know. Maybe he did, and I'm just not remembering. Whatever. But like,
I thought he did.
He did take Jem. But I don't think that he, like, made Bree think that he was taking Jem through the stones so that Roger or Bree would go through the... You know, how does he know that it's not going to be Bree that goes through the stones? I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter because he just wants the Spanish gold, right?
Right.
Okay. So
I want the Spanish gold, too. I
know. I could use some Spanish gold. I just have Spanish cava, and it's not going to get me, you know. That and 5 cents will get me a loaf of bread, whatever. Okay. So yeah, he's you know, he's like, so you need to make Jem, you know, tell me what Spanish gold is. Bree goes to the knife, she should, but he shuts that right down and he gets the knife and he's got a knife at her throat and you're gonna tell me where you're gonna tell him to tell me where the gold is. He doesn't say like where Jem is. That's why I'd be like, where'd you put him? Like, where is he? Is he here? Like, did you bring him? Like, where are you hiding him?
Right.
So that's a little suspicious, but so she's kind of like, yeah, right, whatever. Then the whole like, he's so gross. It like so it was so offensive to me where he's like, oh, pour me a glass of wine, Dove. Does he call her Dove or does he call her
He called her hen when he
Gov?
first got there.
Gov, like govna, because she's his boss. But I think it's Dove. I think he calls her Dove.
Well, and he called her hen when he first got there.
Right. All these
That's like
names.
a female. Like
I know. And so she's like, okay, sure. Here we go. And then she grabs the pot and like, boom.
Damn. I know, but I kind of questioned that because I was like, girl, I think he knows where your son is, and you might not want to knock him out too hard.
Well, no. I mean, see, I think she wants to get. I mean, she wants to get Mandy and get the hell out of there. It's better. I mean, she's gonna be able to like. She knows people. Like, doesn't Rob Cameron like I forget. Like, I guess he lives by. It's like she knows where he lives. She can probably like figure out. You know, she can call the cops. First of all, there's plenty she could do. She doesn't. No, it's far better. Like the guy just had a knife on her. It's far better to like knock him out, get the hell out of there, and go and try to like figure something out there. You don't want to be
Get
around
the hell
there.
out of there. I would tie his ass up and torture him until he told me where my kid was.
Maybe she shouldn't have knocked him out to like, let's torture him. Let's waterboard him.
I mean, I'm glad she knocked him out, that he was out enough. I would have had something tying around his wrists right about now.
I don't think I think I'm just like, Mandy, get up, let's go. Because I don't think I'm going to be good enough at tying somebody's wrists up. Like, I don't think that's a skill that I have.
That would be great. Oh, he would be begging for mercy.
Okay. Any more with that? Because that's the last we see of Bree in this episode.
No.
I'm guessing we're going to find out more next week. All right. We're back now. Okay. Now we're Claire and Ian. So Claire is ready to start tending to some patients. And Ian is in her room and he says nothing about this marriage. He says nothing about Claire's living there. He says nothing about anything. And to me, that is just like, it's bizarre in the book. I mean, it's a little less bizarre because he's just not around. But here, it's like, did you know that Claire's married to Lord John? Like,
yeah, but if he does, he knows why she had to marry him. He understands there's really nothing to talk about. She had to marry him because she was going to go to jail if she didn't.
There's not another way. I mean, I said this earlier. Like, I can't believe that Ian would just be like, all right, yeah, I guess you're right, Auntie Claire. That's the only way. No. Somebody would be figuring out. I don't know. I don't think it's the only way. Somebody would be figuring something out, but I don't know. It's weird to me. Like, and maybe that's why Ian is not in that part of the book, because it's just too weird to have him around and not have him be like, what the hell are you doing, Claire? Auntie Claire. Yeah, why wouldn't he be at the wedding? If he's all like, okay, it's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, because he was too busy out building the cairn. I mean, I don't think it matters. I don't think any of this matters.
Okay. So he's all like, it's like I lost two fathers. It's like I lost two fathers. And you're spitting in Uncle Jamie's face. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. But anyway, I was like, does he even know about the wedding? Ian is leaving to take Rachel to Valley Forge because, like I said, she's a Quaker and like is shocked, I say, at this like other wife and son and whatever. But like taking her to Valley Forge, unchaperoned, all good.
I was wondering about Claire not wanting to go back to her own time.
Well, that's interesting, and Yeah, it wasn't even something I had
he's
considered.
like, do you want to, and she gives him the whole, I thought the reason was really stupid. Like, oh, we started this to forge on the new world, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, really? Do you want to sign the Declaration of Independence too, Claire? Like,
Well,
what are you
yeah,
doing? You're mourning your
yeah.
husband. He's never coming home. The first thing I would want to do is go back through those stones and go be with Bree and his grandchildren.
Well, yes, I see what you're saying. And to your point, like you already know how the revolution turns out because like you live in America. It
Right.
turns out just fine
Right.
without you. Like
You
there's
already
nothing
did
that
your duty and handed those letters in. So now skedaddle.
you're not going to be able to do anything, Claire. To like it's all good.
Right. It made
They
it did
got
that
they got this. Ben
yes.
Franklin, George Washington, they got this.
They got this. Exactly. No one needs you right now, Claire. And the whole thing about Henry's surgery, to me, it was just as bizarre that she wouldn't want to go. Just like it was bizarre with, I'm going to go over the ocean for Henry, was kind of bizarre for me that she wouldn't want to go home. But then I thought, yeah, right now, maybe she wants to be. No, that doesn't even make sense. Jamie wasn't even in Philadelphia. Like, whatever.
I do think that like she doesn't know she's there in Philadelphia. Where would she go? Where would she go? She knows where there are stones in North Carolina, but like getting to North Carolina from Philadelphia in 1779, wherever they are, whenever they
Right.
are, is like just as hard as getting from Scotland to Philadelphia.
Right. She would get on a boat and go back to Lollybrook
Right,
for a
but like
while.
all of that, like that's another like
Heck yeah,
it's
her
just
husband's gone. I don't want to stay here.
I know, but it's like, they always say like don't do anything, don't do anything for a year. Don't make any big decisions for a year.
Damn it, I
And
wish I didn't sell that house in the Poconos.
um and she married Lord John, whatever, but like I think she's still kind of just like I don't know what the hell is going on, right?
Right.
So, but I don't buy the whole like I have to like help out with the revolution. I do buy like this is my time now. And that's, having said all we just said before, like I don't think she would go back because I think that this is where she belongs. I really do think that.
I would have rathered less, like you just said. This is my time. Maybe I'm going to go back down to, Fraser's Ridge, whatever. Like,
right.
Yeah.
There's a reason why this scene wasn't in the books.
Yeah.
Because it's not really needed.
Because it's stupid. No, kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. So much to say. Tracy, I have a lot to say.
Maybe it's just like people, the writers felt like they needed to explain why Claire wouldn't just go back through the stones. And this was how they did it.
Right.
Whatever. Okay. Lord John and Claire are off to Mercy's house. Oh my God. Yeah, there's a lot to say with this. Okay. So all right. So Henry's not going back to England. He and Mercy are in Louvre, and they wish to be wed. And Lord John, Uncle Lord John, can you just help my dad for me? Because I know how that's going to go over, right? It's not going to be good.
Yeah, Hal's going to love
Okay, thanks.
This.
Okay, thanks. The Lord John reaction is so good. It's so good. Henry, can I speak to you privately? Mercy.
Yeah.
No, anything you say in my home, you can say in front of me.
Because that would happen.
Lord John's like, okay, you gave me permission here. Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah. And Lord John just unloads, and it's really good. For one thing, this marriage is illegal, and they're like, oh, well, there's ways to get around it. There's like people you can be wed in secret. It's like, how is that getting around it? But okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Also, and I was like, Henry, David, yada yada, son of Hal, yada yada, the Duke of Pardlow, yada 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 yada. And when Henry's like, my duty is to the woman I love. Can we just stop saying that in movies?
So dumb.
Can we just stop saying that in movies or TV? Like,
so dumb.
It's my duty to the woman I love.
Yeah, dumb.
To the woman. Just stop. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And now you just stop me if you are at the point where you want to say something, because I think you want to say something in the carriage. That's if I'm
I want to say something in the carriage, I want to say something at the party, and I want to say something at the end.
Okay. So we're in the carriage, and here comes 21st century Claire, and she is ready to rock and roll. She is like, I've never taken you for a bigot,
Okay.
Laura John.
Number one.
I don't think any of this is in the books either, clearly.
Number one, your sister went down the bigot rabbit hole because I was like, bigot, did they say that in the 18th century? And I Googled it, and you're seeing 16th, maybe even late 15th, but it meant a religious hypocrite. And then they're talking about like World War One. So I'm like, okay, at what point did bigot mean that? Like, I don't like when they stray from...
Well, I mean, no. Claire's the last Claire is from the late 1960s. I mean, bigot meant bigot back then.
Okay, but it didn't to Lord John. So
but we know this, Carol. This is Claire's Achilles heel. Claire thinks the way a 20th century woman thinks.
No, you're not. You're still not getting me. I am just honing in on the word bigot. Somebody once said to me about Outlander, they didn't use the term lobster backs until,
So wait, later. Are you saying that Lord John wouldn't know what a bigot is?
Yes, I'm saying from what I found, it was the I don't think it was 1600s. I think it was, maybe it was 1600s. It meant a religious hypocrite. So that would be a very different meaning from what Claire means it as. And I can also understand, I can appreciate Claire might have she was mad, she spat it out. She's not thinking. But I just feel like you got to be a little more careful than that, because then he'd be like a bigot. What? You know what I mean?
But it's the same thing that she does all the time. She does not think.
But it's not the 20th century stuff that I'm talking about here. It's just using a word that does not mean it the way you're using it, which would then prompt him to be like a bigot. Like, I'm not a priest.
But again, she's not thinking that she's not thinking that specifically about the word. So she'd call him something else.
I'm thinking specifically.
Okay.
I like to stick to historical fact as much as possible. And they just went right on with the conversation. And I was like, he doesn't, what? All right, keep going.
I mean,
I'm now over that.
I'm looking at the bigger picture, which we always look at, which is that TV show Claire is way more aware of being in the 20th century than book Claire. Claire,
right?
Book Claire, like given. Kind of. But I mean, so you're just used to that right now. That I should be more, like, in the way I should be more used to Ian and Rachel just like not being good.
No, you're not getting me. I am not at all shocked that Claire came at this the way she did. I would expect nothing less. That's just it's just the word bigot I didn't like in the conversation.
Okay, I'm getting that. I understand that.
If she had said, like, I didn't take you for someone who's prejudiced, I would have felt more comfortable figuring the word prejudice.
Okay. I didn't think that. So that wasn't something that
I get the fact that Claire's being Claire and putting her 20th century principles on somebody in the 18th century.
But what it did was like kind of worth it. When Lord John's like, it just was funny when Lord John's like, that widow is a traitor of the crown. She's a rebel and a traitor of the crown. Lord John, you just married one of those, but like, okay, we'll like leave that alone for now. Okay. Then Claire says, go ahead.
What? No, go ahead. Tell me when you're going to be finished in the carriage.
Okay. Claire says someday people will marry whoever they want.
Right. That was as bad as the woman I love.
Well, no, because that's more like, she's like, someday people will be able to marry whoever they want and life will be great. And my thing was like, if I'm Lord John, I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you, a time traveler? Like, do you know the future?
Oh, and that's a great point.
Well, I
didn't catch that.
Yes. That's what she's like.
I didn't catch
people
that.
will marry whoever they want. Like, it's, I'm like, how do you know that, Claire? But having said all that, and it's all just very Claire and very like, oh, yeah. It all leads to Lord John saying, I know what it is to have our love be a crime.
Yes.
And that was like, oh.
Yes. But I also have Lord John ate her for lunch. And it's a great point that he could go to jail or be killed, and he understands this better than anyone. And then I have Claire should understand too, after she was almost burned at the stake in book 1. Like 100%. I loved his response to her.
Right.
And I believe slow golf clap, because Tom Stark would be very happy with his response to her too.
What I put down here was like, who wins the debate? Because they, you know what, stripping aside the whole like Claire is living too much in the 20th century in her mind. It's a really good debate. It's a really good debate.
A great debate. We could have a whole video on this one conversation.
I know. Tell us in the comments, you guys, who wins that debate. Is Claire win or does Lord John win? Because they both make really good points. But like Lord John being like, yeah, I know what that's like, but being arrested for being in love with someone.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a great scene. It is frustrating as it is when Claire like gets into her 20th century, mindset. It was really great. Okay, we're at Lord John's house. Lord John buys Claire a pretty dress, having a ball, and she's to go. He's all talking about like, people are still whispering about this marriage. I guess I'm not feeling the whole like people are still whispering about the marriage deal. I kind of feel like, Claire was like about 2 seconds from getting arrested. You have to marry me and like whatever. And even though it looks bad for me, well, you're not really saying that. Like, I don't know. When he said that, I don't get the urgency. Like, I would like to get the urgency of the marriage or the danger of the marriage or like the whispers or whatever. But
you'd like to see the whispers.
Yes. A little more.
I'm just assuming. I
get it. I'm like sort of rushing here because I know you're going to talk about all the historical stuff.
I just have to say, Lord's blood, Claire.
That
was awesome.
Roger and Buck find the Crofters. They find the jacket. I don't know. There's the jacket. The Crofters kind of a douchebag, gets his son. Then they're like, yeah, all right, fine, whatever. Should Roger have told them why they have to find the guy? Like, he didn't say anything about Jem. Like, we don't care about the guy, but like, my son is missing. Because that line seems to work with everyone else. The minute Roger's like, my son is missing, they're all like, oh, how can I help you?
He gave it 3 tries. It was a 3-strike you're out. He gave it 3 tries. The minute the guy said Ezekiel, whatever the hell their names were, that was it.
And then you see them talk, Roger and Buck at their campsite. Roger's like, this isn't good. He never would have given up his jacket without a fight. And Buck again, like I think we said this already. To his credit, is very practical. And he's like, your dad. There might not have anything to do with either of them. You might not like finding Jem might not involve finding your dad.
Right.
It is what it is. But it's party time at Lord John's. Excellent.
Party time. Excellent.
Oh, look, it's Richardson. Ezekiel Richardson Captain Richardson is back. And he's all like, it's all good, Lord John. Like, if you married her, she must be great. Like,
right.
Like, fine. And Lord John's like, yeah, she's not coming downstairs because she didn't feel like coming, whatever. But look, there she is.
And then Carol Burnett comes down the stairs and in the dress that she saw in the window and couldn't resist. That was great.
It is very nice dress though, and she's, to Claire's credit, like, good for her. She's putting on a brave face.
She's doing her best. Yes.
Now we're at the point where I think, Carol, you're just going to want to go off on this Peggy Chew person who's a real person. So go.
You couldn't care less.
She's not Peggy Shippen. In the book, did you know who's at this party in the book?
Okay. So I did not. And when I read the books 15 years ago, I didn't care about John Andre. I didn't care about Peggy Shippen. I certainly didn't care about Peggy Chew. It is since then that I've gotten way more interested in all of that, in the social aspect of the Revolutionary War. So I was absolutely just floored. Peggy Chew, again, wouldn't have cared about her. She went with John Andre to the giant party that he planned for Howe. This Howe guy, my God, the things these people did for this General Howe every 5 minutes, having these parties, these lavish for him. And John Andre had this party called if I'm saying it right, the Meschianza. and Peggy Chew was his date for that. But Peggy Shippen, there are different accounts of whether or not she was even at it. So I'm like so excited that John Andre has now been worked into Outlander. My plan is coming together.
Well, Peggy Chew may or may not have gone with John Andre, but she had her eye out on William.
I loved
and she
it.
did her darndest, but William was having none of it because he's still brokenhearted over Rachel.
Off to the side, Peggy Chew was one of 3 girls. P.S. Peggy was the charming one.
Oh, the sisters?
Yeah, there were
See,
3
this
sisters.
is why like at Hamilton, like the Schuyler sisters are the Chew sisters of New York. And they're like they play a big part in Hamilton and they're really awesome. Angelica, Eliza, Schuyler sisters. Okay.
And
Never
the
mind.
Mesquianza was held 4 blocks from Pat's Steaks, which is on Passyunk Ave, where we
Nice.
went with
and
the
Gina's
kids.
steaks.
We were and Gino's, and we were in London on July 4th in 2018. And I was like, I'll be damned if I'm going to spend July 4th in Britain, in London. So I found this place called Passyunk Ave that this guy from Philly opened a cheesesteak place in London and called it Passyunk Ave. So my whole everything is coming together. All right, Claire dancing with Richardson.
Richardson. Okay. So he just casually tells her on the dance floor, oh, I'm a rebel. No, I'm a rebel spy.
Well,
Like-
within earshot of everyone. What? Dude.
What does Benjamin Talmadge say?
They have spies everywhere, and we need the same.
Oh, Ezekiel Richardson. Yeah. So he is just like, yeah, I'm a spy. I'm a rebel spy. Great. Okay. I'm like, okay, I hope no one heard that, but sure. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like super psyched that she's now married to Lord John because she can like, find out all sorts of shit. And she's like, oh hell no. Just go away. Like I'm not now. While I'm living here, I'm not ratting out my husband. No, not happening.
But
what's interesting is Hal is really the issue here because Hal has been talking it up in the House of Lords about maybe we should just reconcile with the colonies and like whatever. So Ezekiel or Richardson is like, oh hell no, I want my freedom. Like, but would reconcile? Well, whatever. Maybe reconciling would mean giving them their freedom.
This whole conversation, I said she was a total biatch at him, but I was happy that she did at the end of that conversation, like fess up that yes, I am a rebel, because
right.
And then I'm like, isn't she staying? First, she's like, no, I can't. And I get that because it's Lord John and his family and she's being, loyal to them. But didn't you stay in this time because you wanted to see the new world? Like, what do you mean you're not going to help me out? She's so staying here because she wants to help the cause and she's blatantly telling him she's not going to help the cause. Like, how does she think they won? Spying.
Well, no, she's not going to help the cause by screwing over Lord John. She do whatever else.
I think she could have explained that a little bit better. Or said to him, listen, I'm not giving up, or lied and said, I don't get any, maybe not even lied. I don't get a lot from them anyway. So don't expect to get any information from me regarding the Gray family, but anything else I can do, we'll see.
I thought she was, we're going to have to agree to disagree there because I thought she was pretty clear about that. She's like, she's not screwing over her husband to help him. She's not going to help him by being a spy in her own house.
Well, she was telling him all that, but then I was glad at the very end that she said, like, in not so many words, like, yeah, I'm a rebel too. So
right. So the next, I don't know what it is. It's the next day. It's a week, whatever. She's still, like I said before, she's still sitting in a room, staring at the fire, whatever. He comes in, he's like, we have all these social engagements now, and we have to go to Montclair. I'm sorry, whatever.
And one of them was going to be the Mesquianza.
I'm sure it was. But like again, not to be all in the books, but in the books at this point, it was more like it wasn't like you have to go, like still trying to convince her that she has to go to at least one. It was more like, okay, yeah, we have to go to this one. So what are you wearing? Oh, I don't know. What are you wearing? Like, oh, it was there was a little more like they were a little more relaxed with each other, I guess.
Oh, they were
And
like
a
an old
little
married
more
couple.
working as a team, as an old, I mean, not really an old married couple, but yes, there was that camaraderie. So, and I think that made when Jamie came back, like more of a conflict. So it's right now to me feeling like she's been holding her breath this whole time, waiting for Jamie to come, even though they're not saying that. Like, I wish there was more of like a feeling of like, it was hard to believe again. It was hard to believe that he was really dead. So when he shows up again, there's not that like, what? So that said, it's great. You hear all this commotion, and it's like whatever. And then Mrs. Fig is all like, this guy just like blew up the stairs, and I tried to stop him.
The minute you heard it, I was
like, and the reunion was great. It's off in the book when he kisses her, and she's like, "There it is, my blood."
That hug,
so good.
That grab. I have done that in my dreams. That's all I'm going to say.
Good. It's so good. She and Lord John's staring him like, how in God's name are you alive?
Lord John was almost more excited than Claire.
So basically he missed the ship and, I guess got a later one, whatever. So then Lord John sort of not in passing, but like, is like, basically like, okay, well, you can't stay here. Your son, open that
door a little bit more. Your son, who's standing right outside the door.
Your son, James Alexander Malcolm Mackenzie Fraser.
His name is William.
Due shortly. So, that was just like, of course, William is standing outside the door.
But that's how it happened.
No, it's not. As I went back and read that too, and the way he didn't say your son. Basically, again, remember, William and Jamie have never seen each other.
But William was standing outside the door, correct?
Yeah, well, Jamie runs out with Claire as William's coming up the stairs. So it's more like boom. But like in the books, William and Jamie, I think, look enough alike that the minute William sees him, it's like looking in a mirror.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God. And he sort of gets it right there. On TV, we're never going to get that. Like, they don't look that much alike.
Yeah,
so therefore, it was, you had to have him over here or something. But what I didn't like was like, Lord John would never just be like, oh yeah, your son's doing yada yada. He would never say that.
They never said it all this time. It's never been said.
Ever. It's not like something that Lord John would just say in passing, like, yeah, your sister's coming over. Like, yeah, your mother, like, da-da-da. Yeah, your son's coming up, so you got to leave.
Right.
He would never say that because it's his son. Lord John's son.
Right, yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. But listen. They
had to get around it. I get it.
They probably tried it a bunch of ways, and that was the best.
Yeah. So okay. Anyway, he hears, but Lord John would never really call him that so casually. That's why I wrote it down now. So there they are. They're meeting. It's not for the first time, but there they are. And and again, I forgot. In all the other shit, I forgot this happens. 100% forgot. So it was kind of new to me too. I was like,
I was like, stinking papers. One of my all-time favorite lines in this series.
It did not disappoint. When Willie's like, who are you? Or I'm James Alexander Malcolm Mackenzie Fraser, and I know you are your stinking papist.
And you are a stinking papist.
Right.
I did I thought it was so fantastic the way they did it, everything. Although I was thinking about the way it was in the book, and I felt like Jamie was like a little bit more, I have wounded wise guy in the book. Like in the book, in the show, he was like, yeah, you're a stinking papist. In the book, he was like, and you are a stinking papist.
Yeah, because I just
he carried that around from when William said it all those years ago.
Yeah. And speaking of carrying around, he's got that rosary. And like,
right in here. Tracy, I'm sorry. What? I should have had a rosary in here. I was like, what? Why are you carrying this?
Well, but we saw it a couple episodes ago when he was with Rachel and they were like praying about Henry or whatever.
Right. But what? So refresh.
So think about what it tells you. What an impact that whatever Jamie they called him.
McDo or whatever the hell he was.
McDo, whatever. Yeah. The groomer.
When he was the stable hand or the groom or whatever, he gave that to him when he left,
that's
right?
Yeah,
Matt,
yes.
He gave him the rosary. But I thought it was a little, again, suspend disbelief, because I was just like, oh yeah, here it is. Like, I don't know. It reminded me of handing Fairy the microphone in Grease. Like, oh, there just happens to be a microphone right here. Like all these years, I get that you have it. I even understand that you might even have it on your person, and that's pretty damn cool. But here it is. It's not even.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like I don't like. I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know. I can't think of like what I'm think. I can't like verbalize what I'm
about the whole thing,
like,
or about the
well, no. So Williams had this. So clearly, it means a lot to him,
right?
And then he sees the guy, and he's learning not only like there's the groom standing in front of me, but the whole time you were my father, and you knew that,
right?
And that like has shattered everything that I think about you. Boom.
Right.
All right, it makes sense. It makes sense.
100%. All of it. I mean, you're finding out that this isn't your father, and these people in this room all know.
Right. And boom, 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 boom. Here come the soldiers up the stairs, and Jamie's like, "Okay," and she puts the gun on Lord John. Back off, or I'll shoot him. I'll shoot his lordship. Come on, lordship, and they go down the stairs, and Claire's just like that.
And Claire's like this.
What?
The cat that ate the cake that ate the canary. Oh my God. The look on her face was so fantastic.
Oh my God. It was great. And that's how it ends.
I just loved Jamie. This is what I loved in the book. This is what I loved in the show. You almost like the music, like you could just hear it in your head, like he just grabs Lord John and takes off, because that's what Outlander's all about. Jamie Fraser on the run.
and again, all of this stuff is happening in like the last 50 pages of the book. It's just boom, 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 boom. All of it.
My luggage was on the ship. I was not. I gotta watch it again. Like you guys, Tracy watches these once, and then she watches again and takes notes. I do it once and I take the notes while I'm watching, which isn't as fun, I have to admit, but I never know if I'm gonna be able to watch it again. But this one, I am going back and I'm watching it.
This one, I just do it all the time. Like I don't want to like be thinking about taking notes or like what I need to like say or think or the point I need to make. I just want to watch it clean. I watch it clean.
I just don't trust my time that I'm going to be able to watch it again.
So yeah, I mean this is like what I sort of wrote down at the end, and I've already said it. I wish we had more of a sense of how much time has passed, and that we see Claire feeling more familiar in her role as Lady John. More of a sense that life was moving on, because I think that would have made the Jamie reemergence like more like crazy. Like again, like you don't really believe that anybody believes that he really died. Sort of.
Are you feeling like Billy and what's her name got what became an alcoholic and fought alcoholism in one episode of Allison in Melrose Place? Like, at the beginning of the episode, I'm an alcoholic. At the end of the episode, I've beaten it. Like, yeah, it was pretty fast. It was, I mean, let's be honest, it was the end of the last show of 710 and then 711, and now we're done with that storyline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But I love
Yeah.
them 100%. They did an amazing job.
It was a great episode. I like shouted at the TV, oh my God, and shut up, Rachel. And
I laughed, I cried, I felt every emotion, every stinking emotion.
And that's it. So you guys tell us what you thought about this episode in the comments. I particularly, like Lisa said at the beginning, I'd love to hear from the non-book readers who did not know this was coming. Did you know it was coming? Last week, were you like, James not really dead? Like, did you think that? What did you think? Did you think it was going to be this? Did you expect Lord John and Claire to be knocking boots, as they say? Tell us all your thoughts.
You know what I wanted them to tell us?
What?
I want a show of hands of anybody who would be interested in trotting around some Philadelphia Outlander locations, where Outlander took place in Philadelphia with us. That's what I want to know.
Are we just gonna like go there and be like, okay, we're here on like X day. Come meet up with us and like walk around.
You know how the phrase is usually, if you build it, they will come. I'm turning it into, if they'll come, I'll build it. I want to know, show of hands, you guys, who wants to trot around Philly with me? Maybe a little Valley Forge.
We used to like say this at the beginning of the episodes, and we've totally forgotten, but like our YouTube channel.
Follow us on YouTube.
Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. That's what the kids say, Carol. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We're on everything. Follow, subscribe on
all
everything.
The follows. Follow us on TikTok though, because I like work hard on those TikToks. That's like everything else you just sort of throw up, but the TikToks take a little more work. So follow us on there. Plus, if we get to like 1,000, I think we can do like TikTok lives and stuff.
Fun.
We're at 400 something. But follow us on all the stuff. You know, we love to hear what you guys have to say. But like we have about a minute. The YouTube conversations are great. Like honestly, the comments on YouTube.
Cow. I know.
Like, and you can tell we look at everyone because we like at least like every single one. But the conversations that people have on YouTube, like fantastic. Like
fantastic
really,
conversations.
Really good points.
And I also want to say, like, you know, if I have a chunk of time, I go through and I'm like, yes, like, and I'll pop in and say this or say that, but please don't think that we're not reading your comments if we can't come back and comment. Like, you know what I mean? We read them all.
Well, no, absolutely. I mean, I don't think anybody expects us to comment on every single comment.
Well, I don't know. I just feel, Tracy,
but I read them all.
You guys,
I like every single one.
Tracy talks about my social media guilt and how like I might respond to 4 or 5 of them, but like I feel guilty that I'm not responding to all of them. But you guys are so awesome. You're commenting on all the videos.
Well, and what it does is it encourages conversations with each other. Like,
exactly.
I don't need to comment on everything because people are talking to each other on whether it's YouTube or like Instagram or whatever. Like that's like the best. That's a good thing about social media. Social media is like a little crazy right now, but like that's the good thing about it, that it sparks conversation, debate, all sorts of things. And plus, you guys are all like super respectful, super cool. Like nobody's mean, which is really great. Yeah, we have like the best. The moppers are just the best. I'm sorry, the best. They're the best followers. The best.
You know what?
What?
Like they are.
What? We're sorry we say like a lot, you guys.
Like totally.
We're like totally sorry that we say like all the time. You know, but like whatever. I say that a lot too, but you know, whatever. So that's it. That's it. I'm gonna go off to my play. Carol's gonna go off to whatever she's doing on a Friday night.
Probably
Hopefully
nothing.
It's something fun. And we will see you to see what happens with Lord John and Jamie.
Can't wait.
Because it is going to be crazy.
Cannot wait.
All right, guys. Have a great week, and we will see you next week. Bye.